All right, here I am going to show you programming my Arduino board. So what you see on my screen, on this side of the screen, you see the Arduino IDE, which I've installed and opened up a blank sketch. Over here on the other side of my screen, you should see a camera view of my Arduino. So I'm recording this and working with the device at the same time. Now, I'm not going to get into a lot of detail in the IDE right now, but I will get into more detail on that later. One of the things that I will show you under Tools is you need to make sure that you've got the right board selected. If you don't have the right board selected, your program is going to get linked with the wrong binaries, and it likely will not work. Also, my serial port, notice my serial port is connected to USB modem. So that is the Arduino hooked up to, in this case, my MacBook. Again, if you're using Windows or Linux, it's just a matter of getting that USB connection set up on Windows. Make sure to install the drivers. So what I want to do is I want to make an LED flash. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use an LED. This LED is a red LED. Notice if I turn it on its side, you can see, hopefully, we'll cooperate. There we go. That one of the pins is longer than the other. So the longer pin needs to be in power, and the shorter pin needs to be in ground. And right here, next to where the LED is, you can see that I've got two pins. Right here is ground, and right here is pin 13. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the pin in, put the LED in the correct way with the longer end in pin 13. And the shorter end inside of ground. All right, now over to the IDE and to the sketch. In order to make the pin, in this case pin 13, do output, I need to tell the Arduino to set up that pin to do output. And I do all that kind of thing inside of a single function that's called setup. So this is sort of a magic named function. So inside of setup, what I'm going to do is say pin mode, give it the pin number 13, and I'm going to use a constant that is defined for me inside of the Arduino environment, which is output. Then I'm going to create one other function, and that function is going to be called loop. So the loop function, as you can imagine from its name, is a function that gets called over and over and over and over as your program executes. So the setup function is called once. The loop function is called over and over and over and over again. So what I'm going to do inside of the loop is I'm going to say digital write to pin 13. And I want to send it the high message, which is essentially going to cause pin 13 to turn on 5 volts of power. Then I'm going to put in a delay. I'll put in a delay for, let's say, 3 seconds. And that's so that we can actually see the pin blink and then stop and then blink and then stop. And I'm going to save this as hello world as my sketch. So now I've got my sketch, I've got my board, I've got my LED. I'm going to go ahead and click on the upload button. The upload button is going to compile the sketch, and then it's going to upload that and cause that to execute on the board. Now notice that the LED came on, but I'm not seeing it turn off. And that's because, of course, I didn't tell it to turn off. So again, just like any other computer, the Arduino is only going to do what you tell it to do. So what I want to do is I want to say digital write low. So basically now what's going to happen is it's going to stay on for 3 seconds. I'm going to turn it off and have it turn off for 3 seconds, and then the loop will happen again. To replace the program inside of the board, all I need to do is to click upload again. And there is the LED off. There is the LED on. There is the LED off. There is the LED on. All right, so again, the steps, pretty simple. Get your Arduino hooked up. Download the IDE. Take an LED, put the ground end inside of the ground pin, put the power end inside of one of the digital pins. I picked 13, it's the closest one. And then write a little sketch. And I now have a program. The program that you see on the screen has been compiled, uploaded, and is now running continuously on my board. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do, of course, during this particular training is to show you a few tips and tricks that I have found along the way. One of which is, boy, it's kind of annoying after you do this first hello world that it doesn't ever stop. I could make it stop by pulling out the LED. There is a reset button here at the top of the board. Now the reset button is just going to reset the board. But notice what's going to happen as soon as the board is reset, it's going to start again. This is because this is the way that Arduino works. Once the program is installed in the flash memory, the bootloader is going to load it every time. One of the things that I found very handy is to always keep a sketch around called clear. And what clear has is an empty loop and an empty setup. And I can go ahead and upload that to the board. And you can see once that has been uploaded, now the blinking has stopped. Right? If I want to reinstall my Hello World, I can just upload that. But having the clear sketch around, just for ease of use, very useful to be able to turn off the board. We're essentially not turning off the board. To be clear, we're uploading what amounts to an empty program. And so now this empty program is running on the board over and over and over again.